Holy shit. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Ian McQuaid, and let's just get this straight out of the way. I'm talking about All Out 2021, and Jesus, what a show. What an absolute belter of a show. Not being hyperbolic in any way, that is probably top to bottom the best wrestling show I have ever seen. That's my opinion. You may disagree, but it was phenomenal in every way you would want a wrestling show to be. I have very few flaws to say about this show. Very few. And do you know what? I'm just going to get them straight out of the way. Paul White versus QT Marshall shouldn't have been on the show. Just cut it straight away. Waste of time. Good that Paul White got an in-ring sort of match, but do it on Dynamite. Didn't need to be on this show. Made it feel a little bit too cluttered. And the only other thing that I have qualms about is the finish to Jericho versus MJF, because it's just a little bit illogical with the rest of the stuff that AEW has set up in terms of their refs sort of restarting the match. I feel like don't do it that way. Don't have the ref come down and change the decision, because you can look back at any match that has interference and change it. Just messing with the logic. They were the only things. The only things on the show that I didn't like. Shall we just talk about the good for once? Let's not talk about any other bollocks and rubbish that we don't like. Let's talk about All Out 2021. Starting with Miro versus Eddie Kingston, which was a very hard-hitting, very brutal match that really established Eddie Kingston as a main event star. He is one of the most over people in the company, and just his fire and some of the suplexes where he was trying to drop Miro on his neck, I thought was a great story. I thought it was a really good showing for Kingston, and he was so close to getting the TNT title, and I think he will, possibly the New York show they're going to do at the stadium. It was just flawless execution, a great TNT title match. I think Miro is probably the best TNT champion we've had. I think his gimmick, his look, and his whole presentation is just flawless. And yeah, I'm happy he's getting the belt, because I really, really love Miro. Next up we got Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima, a lovely bit of, I feel like Jon Moxley's just doing this because he wants to work all sort of Japanese legends. And it was a really fun match. It was a Jon Moxley match. It was hard hitting. Kojima looked really good in this, and it didn't further much. Well, it sort of did. It was sort of just like a really good showing for him, in that he's having a lot of these New Japan crossover matches. But what we're all talking about is the ending, in which he was confronted by none other than Minoru Suzuki. And that match is happening next week on TV. Minoru Suzuki versus Jon Moxley. That is just blowing my mind right now. The forbidden door has just swung right open, and we're getting that match on free TV. That's so weird. That is so weird. I said about that. Minoru Suzuki versus Jon Moxley. It's a chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Next up we got Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Chris Statlander in one of the best women's matches of the year. I thought it was terrific. I think there weren't many botches, which can't be said for the Battle Royale. But Baker's just a star. She's an absolute star, and there were some really cool spots in this. Especially Chris Statlander. I think Chris Statlander had some really good ones. The pendulum moonsault, where she just missed, looked brutal. And I think Orange Cassidy just screaming at her to get up was very reminiscent of Deep Cut here, Thunderbirds, you know, the film with, what's his name, Ben Kingsley, where Brains sort of just shouts at Jeff to wake up. Deep Cut. But either way, Britt Baker looked like an absolute megastar in this, and so did Statlander. I don't think she lost anything from losing here. It was a great match. It was really great. Maybe not on the level of Thunder Rosa Baker, but even still, I think it's one of the best matches of the year so far. Next up, we had... Okay, we need to be calm when I talk about this. the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks inside a steel cage. This match was perfect for me. I think it was just non-stop craziness. It was a spot fest, I'll admit that. It was a really good spot fest. I love spot fest matches. I'm not saying that as a slant, but it was incredible. Some of the moves in this, Ray Phoenix in particular, Ray Phoenix needs to be world champion soon. He needs to be the one to beat Kenny. Go away, Hangman. Give us Ray Phoenix, because Ray Phoenix is just the best in every move that he does. Every move that he does is just innovative and hard hitting. And some of the flips and the Hurricane Ranas, and then Penta gets his face busted open, and then the Young Bucks bring in I'm not going to act like I know the name of the shoes, probably not Air Jordans, but like that, with thumbtacks on the bottom, and they just start super kicking the Lucha Brothers. It was brutal, it was ruthless, which all culminated in Ray Phoenix jumping from the top of the cage, brutal crossbody, and just took out everyone, which eventually led to the Lucha Brothers winning, which I think is genius. I'm so happy that the Young Bucks lost, because I feel like they've sort of had a stranglehold on the division, and this can sort of break them out of that a little bit. And the Lucha Brothers can go fight people like Proud and Powerful, FTR, Jurassic Express. I'm really thrilled about the Lucha Brothers winning, and I think they deserve it. I really think they deserve it. It was a phenomenal showing from both teams, and easily my match of the night, maybe even match of the year for me. Next up, we had the Women's Battle Royal. Now, I've got issues with the format of the Casino Battle Royals. They're a bit clunky, especially in this one. I really noticed that even with them having individual entrances, it was too focused on what was going on in the ring, so you don't sort of get that Royal Rumble pop. But this was just leading to one thing, and that was Ruby Soho debuting, which I thought was brilliant. It was really heartwarming to see her come out. I really like Ruby Soho, formerly Ruby Riott, for anyone who didn't know. And she won. She won going down with Thunder Rosa, that really gives her the rub, because Thunder Rosa has been protected a lot in AEW and presented as one of the big stars of the division. So to have Ruby Soho win, I think, was a real spot on magic, because it was heartwarming. The entire crowd knew what was coming, and maybe that's going to be AEW's new thing, where they sort of just leak things and just rumours, and then the pop's even bigger because people are expecting it. It was great. It was a really great ending. The rest of the match was a little bit sloppy. I don't know what happened with Riho. That was weird. But the rest of it, can't complain. Can't complain. Okay match. Brilliant ending. Next up, we've got Chris Jericho versus MJF. Now, I think this was probably the best of their encounters, because I haven't been too keen on some of them. However, the finish that I spoke about at the beginning really tarnished this match for me. I thought it was a little too illogical for me, and that took away from the drama with the rest of the match. Because when he got his foot on the ropes, I thought Aubrey was going to see it. I think if she'd have seen it, this match would have worked better. But the fact that they announced MJF as the winner, started playing his music, I think that hurt the match personally, and I think it took away from the ending. Maybe I'm in the minority on that, but yeah, I'm hoping this feud's over now. I don't want to see any more Chris Jericho and MJF. I think their story has been told, and I want to move on to better things. Next up, we've got CM Punk versus Darby Allin. Now, CM Punk's return match in 7 years is going to be a big deal, no matter how you look at it. His match in the UFC, had some fanfare behind it, but this is his return to wrestling, and I think he delivered. I think it started off a little bit slow, sort of a lot of rest holds, and I was like, oh no, have we got Baron Corbin? Not CM Punk. But no, he was probably working us and, sort of playing the heel, holding Darby down, and then Darby got some explosive offense, the suicide dives. He took this really nasty bump to the outside where he went through the ropes. That looked nasty. And then you got some really cool GTS spots. Punk hit his first GTS, well, technically second, his first GTS in the match, which sent Darby spewing to the outside, which I thought was great. And then maybe my spot of the year was Darby went up to do a coffin drop, jumped, and Punk just sat up like that. Undertaker style, out of the way, smirking. It was perfect. I absolutely loved it. And then he countered I believe, a reverse Hurricane Rana into a GTS. 1, 2, 3. Punk wins his debut match, gets a nice handshake from Sting and from Darby. Really puts over everyone. Everyone looked great in this, and I think it was a stellar outing for Punk in his first match. Then we got Paul White versus QT Marshall. Get off the card, doesn't need to be here. And finally we got Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage in an absolute belter of a main event. This was ruthless. It was really brutal, with sort of Christian taking a lot of V-triggers that looked like they hurt, and a brutal foot stomp through a table, which was, you know, reminiscent of New Japan, except the table actually broke this time. Kenny is just worker of the company. He's just so good as champion, and he's putting on these incredible main events on pay-per-view, and even from people like Christian Cage, who I was worried wouldn't hold up in the main event, you know, being not a part-time, being a, what's the word? I don't know what I'm looking for, but I just had worries about this match not living up to the hype, even with the Rampage match. But this was really good. This also probably one of my matches of the year, because I just thought it had some really cool spots, and it ended with a one-winged angel from the top rope. Nasty. Can't wait to see Hangman kick out of that. And that was how we closed the show. No, it wasn't. Kenny's cutting this promo about how he's the best in the world, how there's no one alive who can touch him. Out comes Adam Cole, baby, to a massive pop, and he comes down looking as though he's going to challenge Omega. No, he sides with the Elite. And it's so good. He hugs Nick and Matt, super kicks Jungle Boy, I think, pretty sure it was Jungle Boy, and then gets the kiss off all three of them. Oh, it was so cool. Having Adam Cole in AEW is just sort of blowing my mind. That we've got Adam Cole, Aleister Black and Andrade, three sort of pillars of my era of NXT, and now in AEW. It's just madness. And then Adam Cole cuts a great promo about how he's here in AEW, and hands the mic back to Kenny. Kenny's going to bid us adieu. Oh no. Flight of the Valkyries hits, and out comes Bryan Danielson, and it's just, what is happening with this show? It's just ridiculous. AEW is the most stacked company on the planet in terms of actual talent. And yeah, he helps Jurassic Express and Christian Cage take out the Super Elite, and they all stand tall at the end. What is happening? If a casual fan has bought All Out, they have to tune into Dynamite next week. I think this sets up so many stories going forward and makes Dynamite must-watch TV. I just can't believe the ending of Adam Cole and Danielson. It's madness. This, for me, is a 5 out of 5 show. I absolutely loved it. I think it is the best show that AEW have put on. I think it genuinely is their best pay-per-view of all time, and it's sort of a point in wrestling. It's a moment. It's a really good moment. Let me know your thoughts on All Out down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.